So we'll work on laterals this session. Bring your left hand down, reach your right arm all the way up and over, being mindful to keep this right arm pulled back so that when you look up toward the ceiling, you see not only your arm, but more even the space in front of your arm. So draw your right shoulder back, think about opening up through your chest, and lift up before you think about sinking down. All right, and after that, you hold a couple breaths. Inhale, lengthen to switch your sides. So right hand gently drops down, reach your left arm up and over. And the same thing, it's easy to sort of collapse here. And open up through your chest and find that nice stretch from your fingertips all the way down through your hips. After you've held that for a little bit, and again, inhale, lengthen to take yourself back up. So we'll move from here just into our first forward fold. So you can straighten out your right leg, bend up your left, and lift up nice and tall. From here, we're just folding forward. Think of both legs as being straight in front of you, so your shoulders don't start to veer out toward the sides. You want to stay fairly square and flatten over. So there's no space between your belly and your thigh. Flex your right toes back toward your face and really find that length. So as much surface area as possible flattens out over your leg. So hang out here for a little bit. If this feels okay to you, you can also wrap your hands around your foot and use that as leverage to pull yourself a bit closer. Tendency here is that your right leg will want to bend on you. Try to push the back of your knee down to the floor. Relax your shoulders away from your ears and continue to project your chest forward toward your toes. Right? Use the leverage of your arms, even if it's over here on your calf or on your thigh, to gently pull. Right? Fold yourself in half. And then from here, we'll continue on. We'll take this bent left leg and just bring it out a little bit farther. And we'll start to work into some laterals. So this right arm, let's move it perpendicular to our right leg. Encourage this right shoulder to come forward of your right leg as you bring your left arm up and then over. So it'll be normal for your body to want to collapse forward. Try to, just like in our warm-up stretch, to open up. So when you peek out from underneath this left arm, your left arm is not sort of creating a canopy over you. You want to look up and let this left arm get drawn back behind. As you hold this for a few more breaths, see if you can inch your right fingers even more out away from you. And then your right shoulder more toward the inside of your right leg. Once you've held that for a couple of breaths, inhale to come up. And we'll switch this bent left leg the other direction. So it'll still be bent. I'm just going to change my orientation a little bit. I'm going to move this left knee farther back behind me. So as much as you can, separate your knees apart and create more space. Same thing. This one should feel slightly more accessible as you inch your right fingers forward. Again, encourage this right shoulder to come forward of your right leg and then reach your upper arm up and over. Now your right side body will want to collapse, will want to crunch. Think about lengthening through that. So anytime we do any sort of twist, you want to think about lengthening out before you do any sort of twisting, right? So you want to feel the right side of your body super long, not crunched, as you reach your arm, shoulder forward of your right leg. And then when you're here, also a couple more things to deepen your stretch. One, you're bringing this left shoulder, left arm back. You can brace yourself with your right hand, push against the floor to open up your chest. And then check with your right toes. If you can flex your right foot more back toward your face, close off this gap of your right knee against the floor to create an even deeper stretch. Right. Inhale to bring yourself back up. And of course, you want to do the other side. And just as a reminder, we'll straighten out this left leg, bend this right, starting with just our hamstring stretch. Flex our left toes back toward our face, really sit up nice and tall. If you want to take a look at it from a different angle, with our hamstring stretch, it's easy to cave and round, right? So imagine your hands are supporting you, and you can even do this in the beginning, prop yourself up. All right, so once you have this boost, this lift, I'm gonna maintain this lift, and then fold forward. So at this point, once you've lifted, your only hinge point is right at your waist, right? You're not allowing yourself to curl. You're preserving that length and getting as long in your chest as possible to flatten out over your leg, right? Same thing, same variation. You can certainly grab onto a place. You can interlace your fingers underneath your foot, taking care to re-square your shoulders, taking care that once you're in your maximum depth, that your spine has it rounded on you, right? So check in with it again. We do oftentimes these halfway lifts in yoga, right? So on your inhale, taking that halfway lift, meaning going inhale, lengthen, think about a little bit sending your tailbone back, think about a little bit opening up through your chest, and then on your exhale, maintaining all that length as you hinge forward. All right, from there, again, we're taking it to that side stretch. So again, separate your knees apart. Your right leg hasn't changed. You're just scooting it sort of farther back behind you. And this time, this left shoulder comes forward of your left leg. Try to encourage this right leg, which we're really not focused on that much, but just try to encourage your right inner thigh to face up toward the ceiling. Encourage your right knee to go down. So again, really open through your chest as you extend your right arm forward perpendicular of your right leg. Flex your right foot back toward your face, straighten out this right leg as much as possible, and open up through your chest, right? Really open up through your chest as you extend up and over. All right, encourage your fingers to move even more away from you as you get your left shoulder more inside of your left leg. And then, of course, we'll take this right knee and bring it back behind, our right leg folded back behind. I'll show you from a different orientation. Same deal though, flex your left toes back toward your face, crawl your left fingers forward, but super open, right? Super open as you reach up and over. My left side body not crunched, lengthened. Feel the side of my body flatten out over my left leg. Reach out from there. All right, so once you've done those, we'll take it into a spine twist. So let's say this left leg is forward. We can bend up this right leg, place it over our left knee. Keep this right hand close to the base. It serves that same purpose of propping ourselves up, right? So our spine is no longer rounded, our chest is no longer caved. Find that lift, right? Once you've found that lift, pick up your left arm, think about extending up as long as possible, as tall as possible, and think of getting your left armpit outside of your right leg. Your left armpit outside of your right leg. For most of us, that might be difficult on our first go, right? So I'm gonna just change my orientation real quick. So same thing, but once you're lifted and you're here, make sure this right butt cheek presses down. You use this right hand behind you to lift yourself up. Once you find your maximum lift, not here, but here on your inhale, you maintain that length in your spine and then twist from there. So I can feel my belly button lift up on my inhale, and on my exhale, I find my belly button kind of passing my right thigh as I look past my right shoulder. All right, if you feel like this is actually quite accessible, you may certainly bend up this bottom leg. All right, so I'll show you on the other side. So if we were to switch sides, I'm now bending my right leg, putting my left foot over my right knee. And a couple things just to check when you're facing straight forward. Maybe you have a mirror to double check for you. Again, this left butt cheek, definitely touching the floor. This left knee wants to drop out to the side, pick it back up, right? So it's hugged close into your chest. You're sitting up as tall as possible, right? Left hand close with the base of your spine, still your left butt cheek on the floor. And then pick up your right arm, right? Not just here, really lengthen, right? You have a little bit more to go. And then from here, think of your left armpit outside of your left leg. And then once you've held it for a couple of breaths, right? You've done the inhale, you've twisted on your exhale, you've done it again, lifting up on your inhale, twisting on your exhale. Perhaps at that moment, your body is willing to give you a bit more, right? So I'm gonna change my orientation again. You stay there. If you feel like your body might be able to give you some more, right? So you're here on your initial, and you're like, all right, I can do more. You can give yourself a manual assist, right? So take this left hand, push your left thigh out of the way. So using my left hand, push my left thigh out of the way. I get more of my right armpit outside of my left leg, right? So more of a hook, spine wants to round, use your left hand behind you, pick yourself up, right? Pick yourself up, left butt cheek wants to lift, you drop it back down. Sit yourself up tall. Sit yourself up tall, and then you twist from there. I always encourage you to keep your base hand close with your bottom. All right, you start to lean back, your spine starts to round into it, you start to lean into it. It no longer serves the purpose that you have it there for. All right, so that's that. With your laterals, another thing to do after you've done some other movements is moving. Let's start into a chest stretch. So you've probably done just your basic child's pose before, and that's fantastic. Certainly, you can open up your knees, sit your hips down. Another variation I like, though, that's slightly more aggressive than our child's pose is our puppy pose, and it's a really deep stretch for your chest. So keeping your hips above your knees, this won't change. Just start to walk your hands away from you, right? So your hips stay above your knees, and as you walk your hands away from you, you'll start to let your chest melt into the floor. To start, let your forehead touch the floor, right? To start, let your forehead touch the floor. And if you feel a little bit more comfortable, you can start to let your chin touch the floor. And maybe if you're super warmed up, you can start to let your chest melt into the floor as well. Hold that for a couple of breaths. Take yourself back up and move back into your child's pose. From here, I'll show you from this orientation. You're in your child's pose. You want to stay there, keeping your hips nice and low. Move your arms over to your right hand side. Find that stretch. Run down the left side of your body. All right, as you extend out, your more obvious stretch will be on the left side, but let's take care that our right side is not completely crunched. So find more length also on the right side of your body. Your left butt cheek will want to pop up. So once you've reached to your maximum, see if you can push the floor away with your left hand to generate some resistance for your left hip to drop back down to your heel. Once you've held for a couple, let's switch out over our arms to our left hand side. Same thing, the obvious stretch down the right side of our body. We want to make sure we take care of our left side as well. So continue to lengthen on our left side body and use a push against the floor to help sink our hips back down to our heels. And then from there, we can take ourselves back up. All right.